Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is Refuge from Narcissism. No contribution with this video. So, lots been going on from when I last spoke to you guys in the thank you video. Been doing a lot of kayaking, hitting a lot of nature spots, looking for other options, living options, areas in Florida to live. So lots been going on, all of it positive. But I did want to do an update video, and more than an update video, kind of obviously a societal narcissism video. And to be fair, I've been quite worried, posting anything with the current state of affairs in social media and online and cancel culture and what have you. So, I have to be very, very, very careful in what I post, what I say right now, because everything's going really well, and I don't want to lose that. But as I am wont to do, I like to always close the loops, connect the dots, close the loops, drill down, and when things happen in society that help solidify the points I've been making on this channel pretty much since its inception, well, I'm going to step up, during my hiatus and point it out, because it's important. Those of you who have been following along and following recently, I basically made the connection, and what we, in our personal lives, with the narcissistic abuse we have that has been inflicted on us in our personal lives, what's the source is always, what's the source has been the constant question. And for years, I'm like, well, there really is no source, it just is. But it isn't. That's not true. What we have discovered, and what I have discovered, is the source is Marxism, is cultural Marxism, i.e. communism, leads to all of this. Socially, politically, personally, it's all the same maneuvers. It's the same playbook. It's the same tactics. What do you mean by that? And what do you mean by that when you're talking politically and socially? Well, let's look at what's been going on. What's the pretty much one of the biggest stories that has happened in the country is the Derek Chauvin trial, and him being sentenced to, or not sentenced, found guilty to all 3 charges. People saying, well, how could you be guilty of murder, manslaughter, and the other one at the same time? It doesn't make sense. He didn't have a fair trial, is obviously reasonable doubt, and yada yada yada. And this is the American system of justice. How does this happen in America, in the United States, where if we all don't have equal justice, what justice do we have at all? And to those people who are concerned that Derek Chauvin didn't get a fair trial, who think that there was reasonable doubt, who think that there was a biased jury, who think the jury was influenced by Maxine Waters or Joe Biden or the governor of the state of Minnesota or the settlement payment that was made, to all you people on the right who are worried about these things, I ask you this: why do you care? Who cares? Did Derek Chauvin get a fair trial? Who cares? Was the jury influenced by Maxine Waters, threatened by Black Lives Matter and Antifa? Who gives a shit? Well, how could you say that? I'll tell you how I could say that. When Derek Chauvin had the incident where George Floyd died, however you may feel about it, in Memorial Day of 2020, 11 months ago, based almost 11 months to the day, Derek Chauvin, in the end of May 2020, was a registered Democrat, working for a Democrat police chief, for a Democrat mayor and council, Democrat school board, for a Democrat governor under a Democrat attorney general, represented by Democrat Ilhan Omar. What have I told you in your personal narcissism stories? What have I told you will happen when you go no contact from the narcissist? They all start turning on each other, the narcissist and the enablers. It's no different politically. Once Minnesota and Minneapolis started driving away all their Republicans, all the conservatives, all the whoever, what's left? What happens? Oh, we're out of targets. So now we're going to have to start eating our own. The narcissist made their own bed. Let them lie in it. How many times have I said that? The communist makes their own bed. Let them lie in it. Why do you give a shit if Derek Chauvin got a fair trial or not? Do you see any of Derek Chauvin's fellow police officers standing up and saying this is a miscarriage of justice and what the fuck, and we're walking off the job and Derek Chauvin's been a bit? No. No. They'll go out and they'll do what they got to do to collect their paycheck so they can get their pension. Because if Derek Chauvin didn't kill George Floyd and George Floyd didn't die and was still alive, Derek Chauvin would have no problem showing up at your house on one of these jackbooted politicians say so and taking your freedoms, your guns, and he wouldn't give a goddamn shit about whether or not you got a fair trial, or whether or not there was jury intimidation, or whether or not there was whoever intimidation. So why do you stop being a sucker? Same goes for New York City, where you see the Antifa and Black Lives Matter jumping up in New York City at the restaurants, telling them, white people, you're not welcome here. Your money's not welcome here. Get out. You're not wanted here. I'm supposed to clutch my pearls? Like, oh, let me ask you something. Who do you think all those people sitting in that Manhattan restaurant probably voted for? I guarantee you it's 98 to 100% registered Democrat. This is what they voted for. Let them lie in it. I'm supposed to get up in arms? I'm supposed to get up in arms because what I have been telling everybody for 10 years, okay, since I moved down here and since I've been doing this channel, of why I left that area, that it was unsustainable, that all of this was going to happen eventually. Now I'm supposed to get all pearl clutchy. It's like, oh, you poor people that you voted for this shit. Well, where does that leave me if I'm still living in that area? That leaves you in a position, and I'm going to be very frank with you, that leaves you in a position where you are vulnerable. You are vulnerable to malicious prosecution. You're vulnerable to their whims. You're living under their rules, knowing that's just the way it is. That's reality. You have two options. You can either just wait for it to become your problem, for the problem to actually literally show up at your front door, or you're going to move somewhere where your rights are protected, where you know who your local prosecutor is. You know how they prosecute their cases. You know whether your governor has your back or not. That's why I came to Florida, man. We're still a collection of states. That's why I knew that you're going to have to get individual state pushback on a lot of this nonsense. But you can't go around worrying about what happened to Derek Chauvin, because Derek Chauvin wouldn't give a rat's ass if your rights were violated. I've been saying this over and over, okay, since the election. The Democrats are going to do what the Democrats are going to do. I'm not worried about them. Okay, unless you've been living under a rock or just been lying to yourself. We've all known this is who the Democrats are. The Democrats have been pushing communism now, okay, for the better part of 50 years. This is where it was always heading with the Democrats. I'm not surprised by any of this. Remember, after it was clear Trump was not going to win, okay, I didn't want the Republicans. I want them to have no part of the fucking Senate. None. Because I gave the example of Joe Clark, Principal Joe Clark, the Morgan Freeman scene on the rooftop with Sam's from Lean On Me. You smoke crack, don't you? Don't you? You're just killing yourself. You're just doing it slower. And you want to kill yourself, I say don't fuck around with it. Do that shit expeditiously. Same thing goes with fucking communism and socialism. Don't fuck around. Don't slow walk. Don't slow walk me. Don't fuck around with it. Let's do that shit expeditiously. So our fucking cards are on the table. And so we could actually expose what we should be worrying about as conservatives, our own fucking weak-kneed, backstabbing, Tim Scott-like Republicans. There's another one. I'm supposed to get all upset that the Washington Post, or I think it was the Washington Post, or the New York Times, is lying about Tim Scott's grandfather and the cotton and the farming and all that. I'm supposed to get upset about that? Really? The same Tim Scott who supported the Mueller investigation. The same Tim Scott who said, yeah, lock up Flynn, don't allow him to have a pardon. That Tim Scott, fuck him. He's on his own. Stop being a sucker. Just like in your personal life, when you have gotten no contact from these people for a while, and one of the enablers starts coming after they got their fucking ass handed to them, after the narcissists turn around or the communists turn around and bid them good, because you're not around to come after anymore. Ooh, here they come. Oh, I can't believe. Fuck you. What are you going to take Tim Scott back for? Why? All he ever did was undermine every conservative movement, every populist movement, every time it rose up. Stop being suckers, people. Stop being suckers for these people. It's the same exact behavior, whether it's the narcissist in your personal life or these left-wing democratic communists, politically and socially. The behaviors are identical. It's the same playbook. American communists are no different than communists anywhere else in the world. They are destructive locusts. They will destroy everything they touch, everything they get their hands on. They just want to see destruction. Why? Because at their core, they're empty. They have nothing to offer. Don't think the powers that be don't actually understand that. Okay? That's the saddest thing about these rabid leftists on the street. That there really is no place for them in the world. Because these elitists who are funding these people, okay, once you've gained all the power that they can gain, what do you do with these people next? What do you think you're going to... There's nothing you can do with them. You can't educate them. You can't get them to work. You can't give them anything that's going to make them happy. So what do you think's going to happen to them? I'm not advocating it. I'm being realistic. The problem is, I don't think these elitists, the powers that be, who are funding this stuff, really understand the rabid dogs they're dealing with. And that's really where we're at. Is like, you're dealing with rabid dogs, and they're dumb. I mean, they are really uneducated dullards, most of them. That's the scary thing. But on the same time, you feel bad for them because you know how ignorant they are. You know how miseducated they are, or undereducated they are. Really miseducated. Ugh. The same entities that I have been warning you about on my channel. The teachers' unions, the cop unions, the firefighter unions. Stop being suckers, conservatives. Stop because somebody now who was once our enemy or said something is now hurt and like, oh, we're strength in numbers. Bullshit. Bullshit. Once you're out, you're out. The Tim Scotts of the world, the Mitch McConnells of the world, okay, they could go the way of the Ben Sasses of the world, okay? And they will. And they will. As long as you keep this stuff in perspective. Do not worry, okay, about narcissists, communists, societal sociopaths who are now reaping what they have fucking sown in their own cities, in their own communities. You voted for it, guy. You voted for it, Karen. Don't come crying at me. And if you're a conservative in one of these areas, I'm sorry, it's lost. Get to an area that protects your rights. Understand how your local government works. Understand how your local judge gets elected, how your local prosecutor gets their job and gets their elected, who they are, what they're prosecuting, because that's going to be the key indicator to find out if somebody's going to come knocking on your door. For years, people mocked me for moving to Florida, for saying that the Northeast was unsustainable, that something was going to happen within the next 10 years. I said within the next 10 years, the Northeast would collapse. You know, right? No, I did know. I knew Macy's was, because I could see it coming, because I was there on the inside. I saw the mentality. I saw the Marxist, sociopathic, communist ideology that was being preached within the company from the highest echelons and the highest levels. Sorry. Same with Georgia. I mean, look, what do I care? What do I care that the All-Star game left Atlanta? I don't care. I don't care. After what the governor did, because he signed a law that should have already been in effect, because the governor of Georgia didn't do his job. Okay, now he has to sign these other laws. Okay, it's all their own making. Georgia is all their own making. That's on both sides on that. Both sides. The Rhino Republicans, okay, and the left-wing Democrats. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. If you're a populist conservative like me, The Georgia MLB thing it's great. It's great. The idiot governor, who we feel, okay, was really unfair in the last election, okay, gets caught up in this, trying to make up for what happened, and the whole thing. I'm going to care that the game left Atlanta to go to fucking Denver, which is one of the whitest cities in the country. Come on. Stop it. Stop it. Enjoy the show. This is the left and the rhinos eating themselves. Let them do it. Let them do it. Enjoy the show. This is why I wanted to lose Georgia, because I didn't want to be slow walked to this. I wanted to get here as fast as possible, because the quicker we could get there and the reality is out there for everybody, the sooner we're going to find out which way this goes. So I'm going to wrap that up here. I should be back making videos pretty soon. You know, we're having a good time. We're bouncing around. I'm trying to keep a low profile with everything. I'm really recharging the batteries and all. And we really do want to try to find some place to get out of here a little bit, place a little bigger, multiple bedrooms, maybe a studio, you know, to have an actual studio instead of my living room would be nice. So that'll be next. But thank you everybody for all your patience and all your support through this. Okay. For those of you who follow me politically, socially, all is not lost, guys. All is not lost. Enjoy the show. The people who have gotten us to this point are now reaping what they have sown. Let them. Let them. And do not take any of these whining, backstabbing rhino Republicans who are now getting a foot in their ass since the left has no more use for them, okay, anymore. Don't let them try to come over here and be your friend again, because they're going to do what locusts always do, take over and ruin your movement. So I'm going to leave it there. All right, guys, like I said, I'm going to try to be back shortly, but I am having a good time. Don't worry, the queue is only about 12 videos long right now. So again, I could bang that out in a day if I wanted to. I am still obviously doing some Skypes here and there when I can fit them in. I have been able to, so I'm still doing them as well. So if you want to get with one of them, get to me, I'll be able to fit that in. Other than that, I want to thank everybody for your support, everybody who has supported, continues to support, in all types of ways. I really appreciate it, and I will be back soon. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been Refuge from Narcissism. Take care, everybody.